and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, for what is a massive video, because what we are going to do is we're going to be combining the usual match preview with Hansi Flick's press conference. All we're going to be doing here is reacting to everything he said there, all of the build-up to Barça versus Getafe, whether he is going to rotate in this game, and he also made some really nice words there on Ronald Araujo, but of course he spoke as well, and we are going to, about the goalkeeping situation, the latest developments there inside of the club, and some of the more concrete names that we are hearing, plus the lineup and predictions are on the way. Sit back and relax, and I hope you're going to enjoy this. Let's do it. But I want to kick off, first of all, guys, with some extra special super thanks shout-outs here on the channel. And there's a fantastic one coming in from South Africa, because they don't have many friends who support Barcelona, but they are so happy to be here as part of the community on the channel. And that is exactly what it is all about here. And a brilliant one, too, from Nesto, who's been supporting on the channel for so many years, going right the way back to my face reveal video all those years ago. So thank you for the incredible support coming in right now. And Barca right here, they have been thrust back into action. We only finished on Sunday, of course, in our game, and now it is time for another one. And we finally return home after 3 successive away matches, and our reward, it's playing Jose Bordalas' Getafe. This is going to be a test. This is going to be a different kind of game, and that is exactly what Flick was asked there early on in his press conference. It was basically asked of him there that the game against Villarreal, it was so open, it was so expansive from both teams. We were both attacking in so many different areas of the field, but now we've got to play Getafe, and surely you're expecting a different game. And Flick's answer there, I think it tells you a lot. He said yes. He said, oh yes, with a smile. I think he knows this is a very different kind of match. He said we've got to do different things. Not every match is going to be the same. We've got to adapt our game plan depending on what we need to do. And he said that's exactly what we've been working on today. So hopefully we are going to see that tomorrow. So it's good to see here. Obviously Flick is new to Spanish football, but he's already got a good understanding. He is fully aware here of the kind of test that Getafe are going to bring to the game, and how they can be, even despite being in the relegation zone right now, they can be very tricky opponents. Because Flick again was asked in this press conference, is this the best moment since you've arrived as the Barcelona coach, with that win over Villarreal, confidence again really building in this team right now? Are you so happy with what you are seeing? And again, the answer from Hansi Flick, it was incredibly refreshing, because he said, as we always do, we analysed the match against Villarreal in detail, and we saw there are a lot of things that we can do much better. He said we are not the finished product right now. He said we're not at the end. We have much more to give, and we're going step by step. And I think that's the most exciting thing right now, guys. When you look at some of the performances that we're seeing, scoring 5 goals, scoring 7 goals, you know, the goals that we're scoring, and yet we're not done. You know, Hansi Flick here, he's still got work that he's doing every single day on the training ground. The players are becoming more and more accustomed to what he wants to bring to this team, and we are nowhere near finished. And that is the exciting part here. We've got players that come back into this team. We've got levels still that we can reach. Just imagine what we're going to be doing when we are the finished product. However, guys, when Hansi Flick was actually in the very middle of that last answer, he himself had a bit of a scare, because he had a number of coughing fits in today's press conference, guys. He seemed to have a bit of a fever as well. He left the press conference area several times, like I say. When he came back in, he was applauded by all of the journalists in the room. He was actually given some medicine there, and he actually struggled his way through today's press conference. Even he is not 100% right now. Do not let him get added to this injury list. We've got to sort this out. The injuries at Barca, they're getting out of hand. Even Flick is not feeling all that well, but he was then asked about Robert Lewandowski, about his form recently, of course, about his 2 goals there, important ones that they were against Villarreal at the weekend. And he was asked, is this what you expected from Robert Lewandowski, having known him, of course, having worked with him before? And Flick said, I am not surprised at all about his level of performance. He said he scored 6 goals now. This is something that he does very well. But what he was really stressing with Lewandowski is that you need to have players around you. That kind of player, you need to have players there operating around you. And he said what we wanted to do was to give him lots of options to score, give him lots of chances. And he said it's the same for all the other players too, give everybody their opportunity to score. And that is what we're seeing at Barca. We are not only seeing anymore just the one goal threat, just Lewandowski, he's the only one that can score, the only one that can finish the chances. We are seeing several different players in this team chipping in. We're spreading the threat right across our front line, and that is a really, really good thing there. It makes you unpredictable, it makes opposition defences, they don't know where to look, they don't know who to pick up, who to mark at any given time, because we're carrying multiple goal threats at all times. And then speaking about those exact attacking threats, Hansi Flick was actually asked there about Rafia. Maybe Lewandowski hasn't surprised you, but has Rafia in the way that he's played this season? But Flick said again, no. He said, no. You can see that he is the one that's starting the dynamic that we need on the pitch. He's spoken about this before. He sees Rafia as his leader in so many different ways. He said everybody as well loves him in the dressing room. Speaking there again about those leadership qualities, he said that's really, really important. And he said he gives everything, which for me is the most important thing. And we've seen right throughout Flick's time at the club, he really does value that work ethic there. If you're somebody who's going to come in and give everything for every minute of the game, you earn his respect. You earn there his admiration just in you doing that. And he was also asked there a follow-up question, what did you do to give Rafia confidence, to give him here belief in himself? What have you actually done to give him that kind of freedom? But Flick said there, I hope that it's not only Rafia. He said, I hope that every single player feels as though I've got trust in them, because that is a really important thing. He said, we want to create an atmosphere here at the club so that players feel as though they can play at their best level. We must have a positive atmosphere inside of the club, and that is what we have right now. And that's something we've spoken about on the channel before there. Allowing players to have, within reason, that creative freedom, it does give them an opportunity to show themselves, to show their quality, show what they can do. And somebody like Rafia, he is thriving off of that freedom there. And we are seeing the expression in his play, the joy, the happiness in going out there every single game on the field. But then comes a big question about Lamine Yamal, because he is one of those players who is incredibly expressive, and we are all enjoying his performances. Every game, he is wowing us right now. But I think all of us here, we saw what happened at the end of the game against Villarreal. We spoke about it on the channel yesterday. The challenges that he was receiving, they were kicking out at him. They were really, really inflicting some big challenges on the young man. And that does scare me, and that does concern me, and that does worry me, especially before playing a team like Getafe. We know that they are the most physical team in La Liga, especially under Bordalas. They're going to do whatever is in their power to sort of throw you off your game, to make you uneasy, to sort of put you in difficult positions. And the thought of Getafe coming up against Yamal, it's not ideal, and we will need to protect him, or maybe even take him out of the firing line. Because Flick was asked, is this a good game to rest Lamine Yamal? Does he need a rest, and would this be the right moment to do it? But it was interesting, because Flick did not seem to feel that way. He said, look, we're going to see, but he said we have all of the data. He said it shows that in this moment, it's not like Yamal needs rest. He is not showing any signs there that he needs some time away from the field. He said we play at home. We need to start well. And what he is doing this season is unbelievable, which I think was a really interesting quote there, because I think certainly he's not thinking about resting Yamal. I don't think as a result of those words there that we are going to see Yamal starting from the bench. I think that he is going to remain in the starting lineup. And like I say, the rest will need to protect him. The players, of course, the Barca players again, will need to protect Yamal. But I think more than that there, looking at those words, I think Flick feels as though we need to start this game well. Because I think he understands here that Getafe, if you give them something to protect, as that game goes on, if we fail to get an early first goal, if we fail to put ourselves ahead, they're going to defend deeper and deeper and deeper, and they're going to make our life more and more uncomfortable. I think Flick knows here, start the game well, start quickly, and then maybe later on in the game, you can take certain players off. That seems to be the approach that he's taking coming into this one, but we could still see some rotation though, because that's the interesting thing coming in here, because Flick was actually asked there about the defensive line. We rotated against Villarreal, but somebody there like Inigo Martinez and somebody like Koundé, they have barely rested at all. They have played everything so far this season. Is it time maybe for those two to be taken out of the team? And he said, we we are still thinking about rotation in this game. But he said on Jules Koundé, he is absolutely at the top of his fitness there. And he couldn't have spoken more highly of Jules Koundé in terms of his fitness level. So Koundé right now is showing really, really good things there. But he said, tomorrow I will speak with Inigo Martinez. I think they're just to see how he's doing, how he's feeling ahead of the game. So maybe of all the players there, Inigo Martinez more likely to be rotated. But Koundé, he seems to be ready to go. He seems to be at the top level in terms of his fitness. Now today, there was no mention at all of Frenkie de Jong. I've got to say that right there. I thought that Flick was going to be asked about him. I thought that he may be mentioned in some capacity. He wasn't, because the feeling was originally that we could see Frenkie return this week, that we could see him get the medical green light, maybe even by this match day. But I think that did seem maybe a little bit premature, given how long we've taken here just to get him back into full training. So maybe we're not quite there yet. But in the media, we are hearing that maybe next week will be the time where Frenkie de Jong receives that medical green light, and then he could return from there. But it is still a waiting game. We still haven't seen any concrete signs from Frenkie yet that he's going to be ready, that he's going to be back very, very soon. We've got to wait and see. But next week right now is being talked about in the media. One player, though, that Hansi Flick was actually asked about was Ronald Araujo. And I've got to say, guys, I was really happy about that. I've been wanting to know more about Araujo's situation, more about his recovery now for so many weeks. We haven't heard much about him, and especially when you consider, think of that Villarreal game, think about our high line in that game. He is perfect for that role, isn't he? You know, with all his speed, all of his athleticism, he could be absolutely perfect for Hansi Flick's defensive style. And the best part is, you heard that today from Flick himself. You heard in the way that he spoke about Araujo that he can't wait to have him back. He said he's doing well, he's progressing as we expected. Now, we can't say when he'll return because it's open right now, but he said, I'm always happy to see him. Even when he comes into the dressing room, he said the light gets a bit darker because he's huge, but he said we need him for that strength. We need him for the way that he defends. He is one of our captains, and he said, I will be really, really happy when he is back. You can tell that Flick is counting down the minutes. He believes that Araujo can be so key to that back line. He's perfect for his system, and he's excited, even if he's huge and blocking the light, to have him back in this team. Which means, though, guys, when we are looking at the potential starting lineup for this game, based on the words there that we've heard from Hansi Flick, I think he is going to go strong. I don't think we're going to see a huge amount of rotation here, but of course there's going to be a change in the goalkeeper. We're going to come on to talk about this situation in just a moment. Iñaki Peña is going to make a big, big starting goal. And then across the back line, I think, again, very slight changes that we're going to see. I think Balde will come back in. I think Pau Kubasi will come back in. They got rest, of course, from the start against Villarreal. Koundé will stay there, but I think Hector Fort will come in at right back. And what that will mean is that Inigo Martinez can get some much needed rest. Then in midfield, though, I think maybe Casado comes back into the lineup there. I think we definitely need him in a game like this. Pedri, will he start again in place of Eric Garcia? And then across that front line, I do think Yamal starts. I think based on what Flick has said here, he wants to start the game quickly. He wants to go out there and put on a bit of a show for the home crowd here, who've waited a long, long time to see Barca right now. And I think Rafia will take up that central position. He played so well there when he was deployed in that role against Villarreal. He sort of got much more into the game. He was able to have a much higher influence, and that may mean Ferran Torres on the left-hand side, with Lewandowski leading the line. And if I had to guess how Flick would line up, that would be my answer, with the likes of Ansu Fati coming off the bench, Pau Victor coming off the bench as well, Pablo Torre, who had a real influence, of course, on the game against Villarreal. We've got options, but I just think Flick, he's going to start strong and build from there. When it comes, though, to the predictions for this game, guys, I've got big news, because in the last match day, I finally scored points. It's time for some celebration here. Shirts coming off. The goal drought is over. Absolutely incredible. Thank you, Robert Lewandowski. And I think really I deserve double points because he scored the second goal. Now, I'm just making up the rules now. I am out of control. I've got to stop this. But this is more like it, guys. Look at this right here. Where is the 9-0 option? That's what I'm talking about. And believe me, if we keep going the way that we are, we're going to have to put it in there somewhere, because even now I've had to change my actual prediction slots here to fit 5+ goals. But you guys believe in this one that it's going to be a 3-goal victory for Barça against Getafe. Now, I'm actually, again, going to try and always choose different to you guys, so I'm going to go here one better. 4+ goals. I believe here the first goal, it's the important one. You want to get that early goal, make sure you don't let Getafe sit back, protect something. If we can score early, this can be a big scoreline. I'm going there with 4+ goals. In terms of the goal scorer, you guys have gone with Robert Lewandowski. He delivered for me. The guy was absolutely outstanding to score the first and the second goal. But I, again, am going to go differently. I'm going to go Yamal. I think he's going to start, like I say, and I think he will get back on the score sheet again. He's been so good this season as well in terms of goal scoring. So for me, Yamal gets the nod and Barça to win by 4. However, guys, we still have a very important topic to cover in today's video. We still have to talk more about the goalkeeping situation at the club. We've got super thanks coming in here from Czech Republic, and like he says, absolutely no bias at all. This is just genuine, nothing to see here. What about Tomáš Vaclik? He is right now out of contract as well. He's somebody who played very well at Sevilla. What about him? We can send the word over to Barça. Thank you there for your support. But right now what we're hearing in the media is that Keylor Navas, he is a real option. His name has really emerged over the past 24 hours. Apparently, even despite being a former Real Madrid player, he would, though, still be open to joining Barça. He would actually love that opportunity if it was to come about right now. And his agent also happens to be Jorge Mendes, of course, which may prove to be significant, and his wages apparently would not be an issue there. Navas apparently would accept just a 1-year contract at Barça. He is 37 years old right now, and that 1-year deal, it would be on a very low salary, which apparently he would gladly accept. He's an experienced goalkeeper, of course. He is really getting on now, but of course he does have real experience in the Champions League and La Liga, and somebody that Barça are considering. But what about, we mentioned him yesterday just a little bit, Wojciech Szczęsny, because like I say, I was so surprised that he retired from football. He seemed to be too young for a goalkeeper to retire, and the quality that he has, I think he's got more to give in the game, and apparently the club are looking at him right now. They're assessing whether he could be an option, whether he's available to come out now and play for Barça. And of course, he's somebody so consistent throughout his career. Again, highly experienced, of course. He's a penalty-saving machine, Szczęsny. Really impressive in that area. And he does also apparently come very highly recommended by Robert Lewandowski. Apparently, he may have even told Barça, about Wojciech Szczęsny, about his quality, about his talent. And the club are certainly attentive to his option right now. And I think what we're hearing right now from the rumours and the words that we're going to go on to talk about from Hansi Flick, Barça are looking more for strength in depth. They are looking, I feel right now, for a free agent who has real experience, who can come in and basically just help out. Just make sure here that we've got numbers to keep us protected if anything were to happen to, say, Iñaki Peña. Because then, of course, we'd be incredibly like Barça feel the need, no matter what, to maybe bring somebody in. Because Hansi Flick was indeed asked there about Marc-Andre Stegen, about the fact that he's now injured, out for the majority of the season. Are you in favour of signing a goalkeeper or not right now? And Flick said, the very first thing that I've got to say, he was so clear on this, he said Iñaki Peña, he is doing really well. He is very professional. He's been training hard now and in pre-season because he said it's not easy for a second goalkeeper. He said he is ready to play and we have confidence in him. So Flick there was so keen to stress, look, we can talk about goalkeepers, we can talk about bringing people in, but I want to put my faith in Peña, who's ready to play now. He did go on to say, though, that later on, I think later on today, we will go on and talk about it, whether we should bring somebody in, what the options are, because he said, of course, as a backup, we've only got young goalkeepers here at the club. So he said then maybe we need some additional strength, but he said we're not under pressure, because he said we're really confident in Iñaki and we will see what is going to happen there. So Flick, I think it's important that he puts faith and confidence in Iñaki Peña. That's what any goalkeeper needs. He has to play for us now, so we've got to get behind him. We've got to support him here, and to hear your coach saying that can only be a good thing. But I do think Barca will bring somebody in. Maybe we won't wait until January. Maybe we will take up one of those free agent options. But guys, with the names that are mentioned right now, Keylor Navas, Wojciech Szczęsny, we've also heard, of course, Claudio Bravo being linked to the club too. Who would your pick be? And I would like to know all of your thoughts in the comments down below here today, guys. because we have covered a lot. Let me know your thoughts on Barça versus Getafe, who's going to score first, what's the scoreline going to be, and let me know as well on the goalkeeping situation. I hope that you have enjoyed here. Everything put together in today's match preview. One big video. Thank you indeed, guys, for all of you here tuning in and for your incredible support. I will see you very soon indeed, but let's get the win on Wednesday. And until next time, as always, Visca, El Barça.